ESI, Employee State Insurance Scheme, which is regulated by an act named ESI, Employee State Insurance Scheme, and the act which was implemented in 1948. And this is the first act which was drafted, implemented in a view to provide social security to the workers who used to work in the organized sector. And after the freedom, it was the very first act which was implemented with a view to safeguard the interests of the workers who were working in the organized private sector. So friends, ESI is what? As the term ESI stands itself, Employee State Insurance Scheme, and this scheme is regulated by the Employee State Insurance Corporation, which is an autonomous body created by the law under the Ministry of Labour, Government of India. The employees who are the member of ESI and who are the insured person are eligible to get so many huge medical benefits and monetary benefit and disablement benefit under this scheme of ESI by a combined contribution which is made by the employee and employer toward the ESI scheme. So friends, by this small introduction, it's very clear that all the aspect of ESI, points of ESI, and itself the ESI is to be directed by an act named ESI, Employee State Insurance Act, which was passed in 1948. Nowadays, so many workers and employees are covered or the member of the ESI scheme who are working in the organized sector, right friends? So this is the brief introduction of Employee State Insurance Scheme as well, that what is the eligibility criteria for employer as well as for employee to be the member of the ESI, right friends? First we do talk about the employer. Okay, any factory or except the factories, any company which is registered under the Shop Establishment or the Factory Act, where 10 or more persons are working in a preceding calendar year, getting their gross salary up to 21,000 per month. Okay, first of all, the first step is this, that employer is to be get registered itself under the ESI by a process which is online process which is laid down in the ESI website named www.esi.nic.in, and there is a proper procedure which is displayed, and while following up of those procedures, after submitting related information and documents like factory registration certificate, then memorandum of association, the board of directors, etc., and so on, so list of the workers, and employer registration is made, and 17-digit ESI employer number, insurance number is to be allotted, right friends? Now the employer has become the that means at that factory, his or her factory or business institution is registered under the ESI, and one insurance number is allotted to that registered company, right? Now come to the employee. Any employees who is getting salary, gross salary means gross salary is 21,000 rupees per month, is eligible to be member of the ESI. Okay, and there is a described procedure when a new joinee comes to the company. Via a procedure, he or she becomes the member of the ESI. They are allotted a particular ESI number, and ESI card is to be given to them, right friends? Then what is the eligibility? I have told you, for the employer, for the employee, as well as to be the member of the ESI, Employee State Insurance Scheme. Okay friends, kinds of companies which are to be covered under the ESI scheme. Yes, of course, number one is the factory. Factory means any production house which is registered under the Factory Act. Besides the factories, the hotel, restaurant, shops, road transportation business, private medical institutions, private colleges. These are the business houses which are to be covered. And what is deemed to be wages for the purpose of ESI contribution? Yes, this is the basic plus DA. Okay, house rent allowance, city allowance, and overtime wages, but not to be taken into account for determining the coverage of an employee. Payment for layoff rest, production incentive, bonus other than statutory bonus, night shift allowance. Okay, then meal allowance, suspension allowance, layoff compensation, etc. These are deemed to be wages for the purpose as contribution. Uh, an employee who is whose salary rate is 21,000 rupees per month, 0.75% from his earned gross is to be deducted, as well as 3.25% is to be contributed by the employer every month. Okay, and this contribution, this amount, employer contribution as well as, sorry, employer deduction from his salary as well as contribution which is made by the employer is to be so the details are to be submitted online in the form of challan submission, and the amount of the same is to be deposited in the concerned or designated bank like SBI. Contribution period is 6 months plus 6 months, like from 1st April to 30th September, from 1st October to 31st March. Okay, this is the contribution period, and the return of contribution is to be submitted by the employer to the ESI for this 6 month period. Right, friend? Now come to the benefit period. Yes, benefit period, normally you may count it that after the completion of the 9 month of the job which you joined as a ESI member. Suppose if I have joined a company on 5th January and I do become the member of the ESI from 5th Jan. Okay, my contribution period is what, up to 30th September. Then my benefit period is what, from 5th October to 5th January. Okay, I shall be eligible to get benefit our post 9 month of the contribution period, the combined contribution period. Right, friends? That what are the benefits which are to be provided to an issued person who is a member of the ESI? Yes, the benefits are, number one is the medical benefit. No matter if an insured person has joined soon, he or she or his or her family members are eligible to get this medical benefit. They may get treatment for their sickness from the related ESI dispensaries or hospitals. The name of those hospitals are already mentioned in their ESI cards. Next is the sickness benefit. Yes, if an insured person becomes sick and he is unable to attend his duties, he is on the rest, then if he has worked for minimum for 78 days, he is eligible to get this sickness benefit, and 70% of his wages is to be given to him, maximum up to the period, for the period of 91 days. But for this his sickness should be certified, disease should be certified. Next is the extended sickness benefit. Yes, if a person is unable to, an insured person is unable to attend his duties and he is having a disease which comes under this 34 malignant sickness or long term rest is required. For that 80% wages is to be given for the period of 2 years. Okay, then extended sickness benefit. Okay, if a person becomes getting the sterilization treatment, or he or she is given the full wages for 7 or 14 days for that sterilization treatment. Maternity benefit. If an employee who is female has served a company for minimum 78 days, who is pregnant, is eligible for this maternity benefit, and 26-week rest period is provided to her with 100% average wages for that period. In case of miscarriage, 12 weeks allowance or wage payment at the rate of 100% average wage rate is to be given to her. Next is the disablement benefit. If an insured person due the course of his employment becomes disabled due to in the course of his duty, he or she is if for the temporary period he or she becomes disabled, for that period 90% salary wage of his his or her wage is to be paid by the ESI. Till then he or she becomes fit. Next is the permanent disablement benefit. Yes, if an insured person becomes permanently disabled due to course of his employment or on duty, he or she is provided the monthly allowance of which is equal to be 90% of his wages for his whole life. Okay. Next is the dependent benefit. Yes, if an insured person dies due course of his employment, then a fixed amount as a pension is to be paid to him or her. The pension is which is the 90% of is equivalent to the 90% amount of his or her wages. The pension is to be paid in three parts. The first part goes to his or her spouse, second part goes to his or her children, and third part goes to his or her parents. And this pension is to be paid to the children till they become to attain the age of 26 years. But in case of an unmarried daughter, she may gets this benefit till she gets married. Other benefits. The other benefits are like the confinement expenses. If an insured person wife is pregnant, or the related ESI dispensary or hospitals, or if she is unable to get treatment from that hospital, she is to be provided that insured person is to be provided a fixed amount of rupees 7,500 at that allowance. Next is the funeral expenses. If the insured person gets died, a fixed amount of 15,000 rupees is to be given to the dependent of that person who is going to do his all cremation related work. This amount of 15,000 rupees is to be provided by the ESI for as a funeral expenses. Next is the physical rehabilitation. Yes, if an insured person becomes disabled due course of his employment, then he is to be admitted to the artificially limb clinic for the purpose of artificial limb equipments. Then he or she is to be provided the rehabilitation period for that whole period. Till then he or she is admitted into that or are admitted into that artificial limb hospital. Okay, fine friends. So these are the benefits of the ESI, as well as for if a trainee for the course of vocational training, if disablement is done, then a fixed allowance is to be paid to the said insured person. The Rajiv Gandhi Shramik Kalyan Yojana, it was introduced in 1st April 2005. Under this scheme, one employment allowance is to be given to the insured person who has been a member of ESI for the minimum period of 3 years. If his factory is closed or closed for permanently, or retrenchment is there, then for the period of next 2 years till the that insured person is employed, 50% of his salary is to be paid to him as an employment allowance. Apart from this benefit, the medical care of self, means the medical care of insured person, and vocational training is also to be provided to him. This is the very big aid which is provided by the as an employment allowance, which is provided to a uninsured person. Okay, next, the medical facility or medical care for the uh, old or retired people. Okay, if an insured person who becomes old and gets retired, then he or his spouse, means wife or means husband, are eligible to get medical benefit from the ESI hospitals or dispensaries, but there is a requirement to pay 120 rupees annually to the ESI in order to avail these benefits. So friends, in brief, in this my small video, I have told you about, I have given to you to information about introduction of ESI, then what is the process to be a member of ESI, that which companies are to be registered, and what who are the employees who may get their this benefit to become as a member of ESI. Then what is the deemed to be wages for the purpose of contribution for ESI, then what is the contribution period, what is the benefit period, as well as last but not least, what are the overall benefits of the ESI. So friends, I hope that by this small video you have got the information, important information about the or the relevant information about the ESI, Employee State Insurance Scheme. If you really like my labor, please if you are new, please subscribe, else you may like or share my video, my channel.